Solve each equation. Graph the solutions if possible. Part A. The absolute value of the quantity x plus 6 equals 11. The related linear equations for this absolute value equation are x plus 6 equals 11 or x plus 6 equals negative 11. To solve x plus 6 equals 11 for x, subtract 6 from each side, leaving you with x equals 5. Similarly, to solve x plus 6 equals negative 11, subtract 6 from each side, leaving you with x equals negative 17. So the solutions are x equals 5 and x equals negative 17. To graph the solutions, you want to plot points at negative 17 and 5 on the real number line. Notice that each solution is 11 units from negative 6. Part B. The absolute value of the quantity 2x minus 1 equals negative 4. The absolute value of an expression must be greater than or equal to 0. So the absolute value of the quantity 2x minus 1 cannot equal negative 4. In the equation, the absolute value of the quantity 2x minus 1 equals negative 4 has no solution. Solve the absolute value of the quantity 3x minus 6 minus 9 equals negative 3. First, isolate the absolute value expression on one side of the equation. To do this, add 9 to each side, giving you the absolute value of the quantity 3x minus 6 equals 6. Now write two related linear equations for this absolute value equation. 3x minus 6 equals 6, or 3x minus 6 equals negative 6. To solve 3x minus 6 equals 6 for x, first add 6 to each side, giving you 3x equals 12. Then divide each side by 3, leaving you with x equals 4. Similarly, to solve 3x minus 6 equals negative 6 for x, first add 6 to each side, giving you 3x equals 0. Then divide each side by 3, leaving you with x equals 0. So the solutions are x equals 4 and x equals 0. For a writing assignment, the essay should be at least 375 words, but no more than 425 words. Write an absolute value equation that represents the minimum and maximum number of words. You want to consider the minimum and maximum lengths as solutions to an absolute value equation. Use a number line to find the halfway point between the solutions. The solutions are 375 and 425. 400 is 25 units from each solution. So 400 is the halfway point, and 25 is the distance from the halfway point to each solution. Now you want to use the halfway point and the distance to each solution to write an absolute value equation. The halfway point is 400, and the distance from the halfway point is 25. So the equation is the absolute value of the quantity x minus 400 equals 25. Part A. Solve the absolute value of the quantity 2m plus 5 equals the absolute value of m. First, you want to write the two related linear equations for this absolute value equation. 2m plus 5 equals m, or 2m plus 5 equals negative m. To solve 2m plus 5 equals m, for m, first get all of the m terms on the same side by subtracting m from each side, giving you m plus 5 equals 0. Then subtract 5 from each side, leaving you with m equals negative 5. Similarly, to solve 2m plus 5 equals negative m for m, first get all of the m terms on the same side by adding m to each side, giving you 3m plus 5 equals 0. Then isolate the m term by subtracting 5 from each side, giving you 3m equals negative 5, and divide each side by 3, leaving you with m equals negative 5/3. So the solutions are m equals negative 5 and m equals negative 5/3. Part B. Solve the absolute value of the quantity 5k plus 12 equals 2 times the absolute value of the quantity 4k minus 1. First, you want to write the two related linear equations for this absolute value equation. 5k plus 12 equals 2 times the quantity 4k minus 1, or 5k plus 12 equals negative 2 times the quantity 4k minus 1. To solve 5k plus 12 equals 2 times the quantity 4k minus 1 for k, first distribute the 2 through the quantity 4k minus 1. This gives you 5k plus 12 equals 8k minus 2. Now you want to get all of the k terms on the same side by subtracting 5k from each side, giving you 12 equals 3k minus 2. Then isolate the k term by adding 2 to each side, giving you 14 equals 3k. And divide each side by 3, leaving you with 14/3 equals k. To solve 5k plus 12 equals negative 2 times the quantity 4k minus 1 for k, first distribute the negative 2 through the quantity 4k minus 1. This gives you 5k plus 12 equals negative 8k plus 2. Now get all of the k terms on the same side by adding 8k to each side, giving you 13k plus 12 equals 2. Then isolate the k term by subtracting 12 from each side, giving you 13k equals negative 10. And divide each side by 13, leaving you with k equals negative 10/13. So the solutions are k equals 14 thirds and k equals negative 10 13ths. Solve the absolute value of the quantity 3n plus 18 equals 6n. Check your solutions. First, you want to write the two related linear equations for this absolute value equation. 3n plus 18 equals 6n, or 3n plus 18 equals negative 6n. To solve 3n plus 18 equals 6n for n, first get all of the n terms on the same side by subtracting 3n from each side, giving you 18 equals 3n. Then divide each side by 3, leaving you with 6 equals n. Similarly, to solve 3n plus 18 equals negative 6n for n, first get all of the n terms on the same side by subtracting 3n from each side, giving you 18 equals negative 9n. Then divide each side by negative 9, leaving you with negative 2 equals n. Now you need to check the apparent solutions to see if either is extraneous. First check n equals 6. To check n equals 6, substitute 6 for n in the original equation. 3 times 6 plus 18 is 36. 6 times 6 is 36. The absolute value of 36 is 36. Because 36 equals 36 is a true statement, n equals 6 is a solution of the equation. Now check n equals negative 2 by substituting negative 2 for n in the original equation. 3 times negative 2 plus 18 is 12. And 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. The absolute value of 12 is 12. However, 12 does not equal negative 12. Because 12 equals negative 12 is a false statement, n equals negative 2 is an extraneous solution. So the original equation only has one solution, and the solution is n equals 6. Solve the absolute value of the quantity 2r minus 4 equals the absolute value of the quantity 2r plus 10. First, you want to write the two related linear equations for this absolute value equation. 2r minus 4 equals 2r plus 10, or 2r minus 4 equals the negative of the quantity 2r plus 10. To solve 2r minus 4 equals 2r plus 10 for r, subtract 2r from each side, giving you negative 4 equals 10, which is a false statement, so this linear equation does not provide a solution for the absolute value equation. To solve 2r minus 4 equals the negative of the quantity 2r plus 10 for r, first distribute the negative through the quantity 2r plus 10. This gives you 2r minus 4 equals negative 2r minus 10. Then get all of the r terms on the same side by adding 2r to each side, giving you 4r minus 4 equals negative 10. Now isolate the r term by adding 4 to each side, giving you 4r equals negative 6, and divide each side by 4, leaving you with r equals negative 1 5/10. So the original equation has only one solution, and the solution is r equals negative 1 5/10.